Well, hello, algebra students and seekers of truth. In this video here, we will solve this problem, this quadratic equation, using a process known as completing the square. Now, before we get to completing the square, I want to give a very brief explanation here as to why the other methods that we do, for example, factoring, is not going to work. We've tried to do factoring before. We separated x plus something, x minus something perhaps, but in this case, we're looking for two numbers that make a sum, right? If you're going to factor, you want to find two numbers that make a sum of 18 and a product of 6. Well, if you try to list out all the possibilities, and there aren't that many, x plus 1, x plus 6, x plus 2, and x plus 3, and really that's about it, right? At least for the whole numbers. So these choices here, they don't work, right? Factoring doesn't work because these numbers, 6 and 1, they don't add up to 18, neither does 2 and 3. Okay? So that's a big deal why that doesn't work, right? Because that if we all we know how to do is factor, then we can't solve this problem. So let's approach it from another way. So what we're going to do here is something that's counterintuitive. We're actually going to move that constant term to the other side of the equation. So subtract 6 from both sides, and I get x squared plus 18x is equal to negative 6. Now, what I'm going to do next is something that's a little bit unusual. I'm going to add a number in here into this little blank space. And the properties of solving an equation says that I can add whatever number I want here, as long as I also do it to the other side. So the goal is to pick a good number, a useful number, that will make this problem a little bit easier for us. And I, in this case, am going to pick 81. I'm going to add 81 to both sides. And I will go back in a little bit and explain to you why we use 81, but we're going to proceed on for a minute here. So on the right side of the equation, this gives us 81 minus 6, so that's 75. And on the left side of the equation, now we can actually factor. Okay? So with two numbers that multiply to 81 and add to 18, it's not surprising that they're both 9. X plus 9 and x plus 9. Nine times 9 is 81, 9 plus 9 is 18. If we were to distribute this left side, we would in fact get this line above here. Now, the beauty of this is because we have 9 plus 9, that's a quantity times itself. So another way we can say this is that x plus 9 squared is equal to 75. Then we can take the square root of both sides, and we get the square root of 75 on the right-hand side. And keep in mind it's plus or minus, because when you take the square root of a number, there is a positive part of it and a negative answer to it. On the left side, we get x plus 9. Then, to get our final answer, we move the 9 to the other side, subtract 9 from both sides. We get negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 75. And then, I always like to put this square root here in simplest radical form. So this is plus or minus 5 times the square root of 3. So I have two answers here, negative 9 plus 5 times the square root of 3, and negative 9 minus 5 times the square root of 3. And that's my final answer. Now that we have a final answer, let's go back up here to the key step, which is this part of adding the 81. By adding the 81 to the left side of this equation, we make it possible for us to factor into a perfect square, hence the phrase completing the square. By adding this here, this constant here, it gives us the ability to come up with a factor that is a perfect square, and that gives us our solution. In my next video, I'm going to explain a little bit more about completing the square, and then we'll talk about and go back to another example of solving this problem. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.